Warning, the following review contains spoilers of Life is Strange Before the Storm Episode 1. If you haven't played or seen the episode, I advise you to turn back now, or you can just wait and skip to the end to see the final score for this episode. I don't want anybody to be spoiled, I don't want anybody to complain about being spoiled, so I'm advising you guys now, you do have the option to turn back and not watch this review if you haven't played nor seen the episode. Just a heads up and a warning for all you guys that care about the episode. And also for those curious to know how I'm going to review this series, I'll be reviewing each episode in a continuous review like I did for Batman the Telltale series season 1. I'll review each episode and give them their own individual score, and then at the end of the final episode of the season, I'll give it one overall score for the entire series. So for those who are curious or wondering how I was going to exactly review this season or this series, you guys know now. So let's get in tune with the review and cue the music. That's right, folks, the critically acclaimed high school drama series about Max and Chloe's adventures in Arcadia Bay are back with Life is Strange Before the Storm. Except this time we're taking a step back with this prequel and fully focusing on Chloe's side of the story this time. Life is Strange Before the Storm focuses purely on Chloe, her relationship with her mother and David, her school life when she was just a freshman and what she thinks about it, her and Frank's relationship, and the most important of them all, Chloe and Rachel Amber before everything went bad with Max's return in season 1. What's new in Life is Strange Before the Storm is that Chloe has a specific special kind of quick dialogue battle minigame where she flings and hurls the most toughest of insults at you to not only break you down but also break your spirit as well. The dialogue minigame is like rock, paper, scissors, where you select 3 random quicks to insult the person you're in battle with. 2 can usually get the job done while the other one may be weaker, giving the enemy a point on their side as well. Whoever can get closest to the middle wins the battle and can dish out one big insult at the end of it. And what makes a return and somewhat still a new addition in Life is Strange Before the Storm is graffiti tagging. Just like Max's photographs in season 1, Before the Storm gives a little spin on the idea for Chloe that fits her bad girl punk rock demeanor and lets her tag places in the game. From Frank's toolbox set, Chloe's own room, inside the school, special statues around town, whatever it may be in the game, Chloe can tag it. Also, while you tag, you have the special select option of what you want your tag to say, not just putting whatever is pre-generated. Now see, as I was playing through episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm, I had to stop and realize that Don't Nod Entertainment is not at the helm of this game this time. We have a brand new developer called TICGN Games who's taking the helm and trying to prove to us that they can recapture the essence of Life is Strange season 1 and everything that Don't Nod did. Recapture the lustful visuals, the great soundtrack, the quick and quirky writing, the drama that we all got pulled into, and they do a good job of it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the pros. My first pro for Life is Strange Before the Storm is that the soundtrack and the songs you hear throughout the episode are amazing. Season 1 of Life is Strange had tons of indie and progressive rock with some R&B here and there. Before the Storm takes that sound that Season 1 had and runs with it even better. The first episode hits you with punk rock, indie, ska, alternative, and many more sounds that aren't only good but also catchy as hell, while I wanted to add them to my own playlist. The music is great and it's definitely a pro for me. Our next pro for Life is Strange Before the Storm is that so far episode 1 is also cleaned up on the animation side too. Season 1 of Life is Strange had a regular mouth moving when talking, characters rocking back and forth in the middle of conversations and also looking around. In episode 1 of Before the Storm, they actually fixed it up to where the mouths sync with the words. They aren't rocking back and forth in the middle of conversations, but to where they're actually doing something this time in the middle of it. Animations are way better this time and it's definitely a pro for me. My next pro is that there's a lot of character development for Chloe in episode 1 of Before the Storm. In season 1, we knew Chloe to be that punk rocker friend who wasn't in school and who tagged along wherever you went to help out. But now we see throughout episode 1 of Before the Storm why she's becoming that way, why she slowly deteriorated into the person she was in season 1. You catch glimpses of her from each and every perspective this episode, from her dreams, life around her, the people, everything. There's so much that's building Chloe up in this first episode you can't help but appreciate. It's a pro for me. My next and last pro for episode 1 of Before the Storm is that I love that they introduced a special dialogue minigame for Chloe. Well, it feels like rock, paper, scissors, but even more harsh insults and hurt feelings. It's a great addition as it fits Chloe's viciously sarcastic style and quick-witted brain. Throughout episode 1, you can select this option many a time and they all vary insult to insult depending on who the person is. You can curse Frank out, the principal, a couple, even a fictional D&D character. I love this addition as it adds to Chloe's style. It's a pro. Now see, as I was playing through episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm, I couldn't help but notice that while Deck 9 was trying to recapture and recreate the feeling that Don't 9 Entertainment did with season 1 of Life is Strange, Deck 9 also suffers from this season with some glaring problems and issues that really need to be fixed throughout the next 2 episodes of this season. You have some pretty big issues that kind of take over the episode sometimes and is very noticeable. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the cons. My first con for episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm is that the way they wrote Rachel Amber isn't good. Rachel had all this vagueness and ambiguity behind her since we hadn't seen in season 1 and we had so many questions and curiosity behind who she was and what did she do. In episode 1 of Before the Storm, they wrote Rachel as this super quirky chick who's all over the place. It takes away a lot of the questions that we had. She's just so upfront and leaves nothing to question all the time, losing what we knew for already. It's a con from me. My next con for episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm is that the plot push of this episode is an incredibly slow burn. You have random spurts where the drama and intensity begins to pick up, but it isn't just as good as season 1's opening episode. Episode 1 of Before the Storm has a lot of downtime in the episode to where there really isn't much going on. The drama parts are great and draws people in, but they take too long to get there. It doesn't need to be action-packed or jammed with mystical stuff, but it also needs to be written better and less boring. It's a con for me. My next and last con of episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm is that the audio and voice acting in this episode is pretty bad. You have some characters in this episode redeeming themselves and trying, and you have other characters that sound like they're reading their lines with a random mic they bought online. The audio needs some work as voices tend not to be compressed and worked on. And also a lot of the voices that we enjoyed from the last game didn't make a return, so all the reoccurring characters sound different and off-putting. It's definitely a con for me. But all in all, the first episode of Life is Strange Before the Storm is a pretty solid one. From the incredible soundtrack they put in front of you, this episode is great. The animations are cleaned up and looking better, fixing up the random animation issues that the last game had. The character development that's being developed by Chloe is very intense and unraveling itself slowly. And lastly, the new conversation dialogue minigame is one of the better additions this season. It's harsh and fun all at the same time. But with the way Rachel's character is written by her being too upfront and leaving nothing behind hurts the game as well. The plot can be incredibly slow and almost become uninteresting at times and really off-putting. And lastly, the audio for voices in this game is pretty bad as well. But with that being said, I'll be giving episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm a 3.5 out of 5. Alright guys, that concludes my review of episode 1 of Life is Strange Before the Storm. Go check out the previous review I've had on Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, a game that tells a tale about sorrow and redemption as you try to complete your quest for something that you believe in. Go check out the previous streams I had of Call of Duty World War II. Go check out my thoughts that I've had on Call of Duty World War II. Go check out the previous written reviews that I've had on TICGN.com. Where's Everspace, Serial Cleaner, The Surge, China's The Lightning Kingdom. All the links to those will be in the description box below. You can go check that out. Go check out any of the previous Let's Plays I've had on Outlast 2, Walking Dead Season 3, Outlast Until Dawn, Heavy Rain, Batman Telltale Series Season 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Season 3, and any more that I've had up on the streams that'll be in the description box, so you can go check all of those out. I thank you guys for stopping by and watching this review. And until next time, until the next video, guys, we'll tune in, turn up, and throw down. I'm out, and thank you for watching.